It is day 53. That's not what it feels like, though, in this whirlwind of President Trump's second term. And now some of his swing state supporters are expressing some buyer's remorse. They're sounding off in a focus group co-conducted by Axios. It's a group that consisted of 13 voters from battleground Michigan who voted for Joe Biden in 2020, but then for Donald Trump last year.
Axios reported that most expressed frustration and worry, using words like erratic, frightening, disruptive, and dictator to describe their concerns.
It's getting to the point where I'm almost scared to watch the news.
A lot of his actions have just been disruptive and creating chaos.
I don't think anyone would have voted for him if they expected to see what we're seeing now.
I was voting for him based off of the economy the first time around, and I'm seeing a significant decline.
It's very scary.
Only one voter in that focus group, though, said that she would pick Kamala Harris if she were to do it all over again. Let's talk about this with veteran pollster and communications strategist Frank Luntz. Frank, you said a moment ago as we were watching that soundbite that focus group was too small. They need a larger sample to get a range of opinions. I do wonder, from folks that you've heard from, are they expressing a similar remorse, folks that supported President Trump?
It's more like disappointment. And they love his agenda, and they really love his action. They want stuff to change here. And by the way, I know that you don't want me to use a four-letter word, so I'm going to be careful. But they are determined to see action. And so they appreciate that. But they don't like the language. They don't like the approach. The execution is what's failing him. And in the end, the public will respond to what they see as the actual change. But over the next few months, if his language continues to be off, and that of Elon Musk as well, it's going to hurt him in the polls.
When you say their language is off, what do you mean?
If you are taking down the size of government, you do so out of disappointment, out of regret, that it's not delivering the accountability, the responsibility. We're trying to make government more efficient, more effective. That's not the language he's using.
Cruelty is what we're hearing in some cases.
That's how the voters are responding to it. And it's because it looks like he's doing so out of glee, out of excitement, rather than out of a solemn sense that we have to do better. I want to emphasize, because I'm going to get this right, they support the agenda. They support the effort. They don't like how it's being done.
I do wonder, there was a new CNN poll released today. It shows a majority, 59%, do not approve of how the president is handling U.S.-Russia relations. This was before Vladimir Putin's lukewarm response to the proposed ceasefire with Ukraine. This was also before he essentially rejected that plan altogether. When you break it down by party, does it go as you expect with Republicans supporting the president? What does it tell you?
So again, it's all about nuance. The public support for military action in Ukraine, where the tax dollars are going towards it, has dropped considerably since Trump turned against Ukraine. That said, they still see Vladimir Putin as the enemy. They see him as the reason why this is happening. They don't want pressure put on Ukraine. They want to put on Putin. But they don't want American dollars being spent. And this is why this is such a hard administration to analyze, because you can take both sides of the case. You can say that he's succeeding, you can say that he's failing, and you're going to be correct. But you have to do both sides. It's the only way that you're being honest with the American people.
That's why we have you here, because you can sort of parse that. I do want to talk about something. This is something that Vice President J.D. Vance said in an interview last night. Let's listen.
Rome wasn't built in a day, of course. This is not going to happen overnight. But I think that both businesses and workers are ultimately going to benefit from President Trump's policies.
Can you rule out a recession, even a temporary one?
Well, look, I think you never can predict the future, but I think the economy, the fundamentals of the economy are actually quite strong right now.
Here's the issue.
Well, wait, can I play one thing?
Yes.
Because we were both around in 2008, and we remember someone talking about the fundamentals of the economy being strong. It was a different economy, but let's listen to John McCain saying this in September of 2008.
Our economy, I think, still, the fundamentals of our economy are strong, but these are very, very difficult times.
Infamous words. I do want to be very clear. Like I said, it's a different economy. That was just days after the collapse of Lehman Brothers. This is a different economy, to be clear. But messaging is so important, and those are words generally you want to stay away from. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm looking at this, and all I can think of is one word: tariff. And this administration has been all into applying them, or maybe not, or maybe so. So you've got this going back and forth. He's using it as a negotiating tool, and for that it's okay. Here's the problem. The public does not fully understand why tariffs are used, does not fully understand the impact of them. He's trying to explain that there's a long-term and a short-term difference, and that you have to go through a little bit of pain to get a lot of benefit. The public does not understand that. They cannot take this whiplash. They're watching the markets, which the president did define as a good economy back 5 years ago, and the markets hate this. Look, he's going to be unsuccessful on the economy if the prices of food and fuel don't come down. Housing and healthcare, and now, because of tariffs, the automobile. These are the 5 areas that he needs to be tracking every single day. He's not explaining it. This is not a given. The public does not understand it. They hear the arguments against it. And one more point. Harris figured out to call it a tax increase. But the problem is she wasn't talking about this enough during her campaign, that all she was doing was beating up on Trump. If she had started the campaign about 2 weeks earlier saying this is not a tariff, this is a tax, she would have done better than what she did. The president has a responsibility to explain to the American people why we need this entity, why we need this strategy. If he does, his numbers will hold. If he doesn't, they will continue to deteriorate.
We are set to hear from President Trump in just a few hours. We'll see if perhaps there's a shift. Maybe, maybe not. Frank Luntz, always appreciate your analysis. Thanks for joining us.